guys, welcome to my art channel. Thanks for stopping by to make some art with me. For more free art lessons, you could press the button below and subscribe right there on that red button. And I will see you really soon. Now let's get to making some art. Bye-bye. Hi guys, welcome to Mixed Media Art. Today we're going to learn how to make kinetic sculptures, just like Calder. And they look something like this. Kinetic sculptures are sculptures that move. And they're made out of wire, and these are going to be made out of wire and paper. And they also have another example here. You can make them in different ways. So I'm going to show you the materials that we need, and then we will get started. The first thing we're going to need today are our wires. You should have been given 6 floral wires that are about 18 inches long. And I just need to say, we are going to be cutting these wires, and when you cut wires, you have to be very careful to keep it away from your eyes, because sometimes a piece might flick off, and you don't want to get wire in your eyes because they are kind of pointy. You will need a ruler, a scissor, Scotch tape, because when you're working with the kinetic sculpture, it moves around a lot and it can be frustrating, so we're going to have to tape some pieces down while we're working on it. Definitely need our glue stick today. And we're going to be using either our handmade paper, if you made handmade paper, or if you have colored tissue paper, we're going to use that. If you have pliers, that would be great. If you don't, you can bend this wire with your fingers, so it's okay, but it's definitely easier if you have pliers. And I think we're ready to begin. So I'm going to start because I need my ruler. And the first thing I need to do is I need to cut 3 pieces of 6-inch wire, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut different types of loops. We're going to cut linking wires, we're going to cut loops for decorating, and we're going to cut loops for balancing. So you'll understand more when I show you exactly what we do. But the first wires that we're going to cut are the wire links, and that's going to attach the different parts, the different sections of the sculpture. So I'm just going to take a Sharpie and mark 6 inches off. Oh, we can't see that, so I'm going to just do it this way. Now when I cut, I'm going to turn my head away just to be safe. And out of an 18-inch wire, you are going to get exactly the 3 link wires that you need. Okay, so there's my link wires. And what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to curl the ends around the pencil. Just like that. So that gives me a nice round link. Well, sort of round. Okay, and I'm going to do the other end. And so you can see how easy it is to manipulate this wire. It's not that heavy. Now if my wire is bent, it's easy enough to just straighten it out. Okay, and that's going to be one of my first links. Now I'm not going to close these ends tightly because I have to link other pieces of this sculpture onto it. So I'm just going to leave it like that for now. And I can actually flatten it a little bit more if I put it down on the table, and I can roll my Sharpie over that. Okay. I'm going to do the next one. And when I have, after I have the link, I'm actually going to bend it back just a little bit so it looks kind of straight. I'm going to show that to you again. I'm going to wrap it around my pencil. When it comes off my pencil, you'll notice that it kind of goes to one side. If I put my finger back here, I can actually bend that back so it's a straight link like that. Okay, and I'm actually going to do that on this one. And this way, when they connect this sculpture together, it'll be straighter going down. So I have one more link to do. Okay, and I'm going to just bend that circle part back a little bit to make this into a straight link. The loops on the end. Okay, so now I have my 3 links. And I'm going to put those aside. The next thing I need, I'm going to make what I call the loopy holders. So the loopy holders are the holders in the middle. So we just did these links, and these are the loopy holders. These are what balance the sculpture pieces, the decorative pieces. So we're doing that next. We did the links, now we're doing the loopy holders. Let's see if I could take this on my table in case I need to show it to you again. All right, so for the loopy holders, we're going to cut another 3 pieces of 6-inch wire. We're going to do the same thing. So let's cut the wire first. And you only have to make 2 cuts to get those 3 6-inch pieces. Here we go. Okay, so with these, they have to balance the sculpture pieces. So what we're going to do is actually, if you find the middle, which is 3 inches, and put just a little bit of a bend in so you know where the middle piece is. Okay, we're going to take that middle piece, that middle part of that wire, and we're going to wrap it around the pencil. Like that. And then when you take it off, and you could see what's going to happen here is you'll have a loop or a wire link connecting the loop like that. So we need to make 2 more loops at the end. A lot of loop words. So this loop, the middle loop, connects with the wire links, and the end loops are going to connect with the sculptural pieces. So we're going to make loops on the bottom. And just like that. These are like hangers. Just like that. So I need 2 more of those. I'm just going to find the middle of that and give a little bend because that's going to be the part that goes around the pencil. So there's our loop in the middle. And then I'm going to loop on either end. Now this is where your pliers definitely come in handy if you have them to close up those ends. If not, you just have to pinch them. Okay, and then we're going to do one more link, one more holder, I guess. Okay, I'm just trying to straighten the wire as I manipulate it a little bit. And we're going to bend the bottoms down. You can close them up with your pliers, or you can use your fingers. Okay, so now I have my 3 little loopy holders. I need to make the structures for the actual sculpture where the paper is going to go on. So, because when we do this, the sculptural part, this one's a little different than the one we're going to do, but all these are going to be a little bit different size, so we're going to do a couple of different sizes when we cut the wire. So we're going to cut 2 pieces that are going to be 9 inches long. So that means if this is 18 inches, you're just going to make 1 cut at 9 inches and you'll have your 2 pieces. Then we're going to do another one. We're going to cut 2 pieces that are 7 inches long. Just needs to be trimmed a little bit. If you have wire cutters on a plier, sometimes the wire cutters have a little, the pliers have a little wire cutter in there. That makes it also a lot easier to cut the wire and a little safer. And we are going to take one that is 12 inches long and one 12-inch. And I'm going to just put these extra aside. Okay, so we're going to do the same type of thing, same type of bending that we did with these holders, but we're going to make these little loops larger because those loops are going to be what hold your decorative papers, so we want them to be a little bit larger than the loop holders. So again, we're going to fold it in half. You need that middle loop. Now some of these are a little bit off center, and that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to bend this one with my fingers because I want it to be larger. And I can even bend the wire any way I want, just as long as I have that loop on one end and the loop in the middle. Now I'm bending this down a little bit so it hangs down. You can bend it any way you want, these wires. So there's one. And I'm just going to bend the other wires, making my loop in the middle, and then my bigger loops on the side. Or on the ends. And there we have another one. Getting that loop in the middle, rolling in the ends. I can actually roll it around my fingers. It's pretty easy to manipulate. It's only, I think, 20 gauge wire, so actually I'll make this a little bit smaller here. There we go. And I'm going to bend them down a little bit. Sometimes it's easier to start the loop around the pencil, even if you want to make it larger. Just gives it a nicer circular shape. Just takes a little practice to bend the wires the way you want. And I have one last wire that I'm going to bend. Now for the ends, I'm using the pencil just to start it, not to measure it around. And they don't have to be perfect circles either. Kind of interesting shapes will really make this sculpture look great. Okay, so I have all my pieces. I have my wire links, my sculptural holders, and then my sculptural pieces. So now what I'm ready to do is attach the paper to the ends of the sculptural pieces. So the way we're going to do that is you're going to need your scissor and your glue stick and your papers. So how to do this is you're going to take a piece of paper about the size. It's going to be a little bit bigger than the circle. And you're going to glue the wire to the paper. And I want you to notice how I have the circle kind of at the edge of the paper. That's where you want it. All right? So you can do less cutting. The way to do this is not to put the glue on the wire, but to put the glue on the paper. This glue is going to dry clear. So it's sticking here. And what I'm going to start to do is just fold in the other paper onto the other side. Now I have a lot of excess here on top, so I'm going to trim that. And then I'm going to put some more glue in here so I can fold all this excess paper into the back side. And just kind of smooth it down on the sides. Like so. And because it's folded, it's very interesting because you have different shades of the same color because the paper is actually layered. So I'm going to do the other side. And I'm just going to actually trim this a little bit first. That might be easier so it's a little closer to the size. And again, I'm going to put my paper toward this edge here. glue on my paper. Like that, and then I'm going to fold it in on itself. So you want to put a nice amount of glue inside there. And I'm just going to smooth it on the wires, get rid of any bumps. And there I have my first piece. So I'm going to do the other ones. And you can use any type of paper. The tissue paper is interesting because it's translucent and you can see the different shades of the color. I also have some handmade tie-dye papers that I'm going to put on. Now, if you're using paper that's not translucent, you won't see the layers of color, but that's okay. I'm just going to trim that around a little bit. Because this paper is thicker, I'm kind of just sandwiching it on. And then I'm going to fold it down. Your fingers might tend to get a little sticky from the glue stick, so just kind of rub the glue off your fingers, because otherwise your paper will keep sticking to your hand. So there we go, we have that side, and I'm going to do the next side. It looks like I'm going to need a new glue stick very soon. It sometimes is a little tricky and the paper moves around, so just be patient. This paper had a lot of excess, and because it's thicker, I'm going to have to cut it a little bit closer. I'm just taking my time folding it in so it's as neat as possible. And then I'm going to smooth out the sides. So I'm going to continue to cut my paper to small squares, just not too small. I want to make sure that my loops will fit over them. And I'm going to glue that whole piece of, that whole square. I'm going to put glue on it. Moving my wire, my paper to the edge of the wire and folding it in. And sometimes it might need a little trim. Okay, so I'm using different colors, different types of paper. I think I'll go back to using the tissue paper for this next one. My fingers are awfully sticky. Just trying to get that paper to the edge of my wire. The lighter tissue paper is definitely easier to fold over because it's nice and thin. So if you want, you could stick with that, whatever works best for you, whatever you like best. Okay, we're getting there. We have one more left to do. And these look super pretty. They're really bright and colorful. I'm going to see if I can get another blue and purple going in there. You see, my next loop is so tiny. So I'm finding it with the thicker papers, it's easier to fold the paper together and then go over and trim it around the wire. Okay, I have this last one, and then we're going to put it together, which is always fun because the sculpture moves all over the place and it's a little tricky, but we'll do it. And the great thing about the glue stick, except that it sticks all over your fingers, is that it dries really quickly. So the sculpture is ready to be put together as soon as you're finished with it. I'm just going to trim my last piece off here. And I'm going to smooth down the sides. Whew, and there we have it. Okay, I'm pulling this mess up and we're going to get ready to put it together. So get your Scotch tape out because you're going to need it, because the pieces tend to come apart until you get a nice closure on those loops. Again, this is where your pliers will come in handy. Okay, so I have my pieces, and what you want to do is figure out, oh, I think I'm short a piece. That's okay, we'll work with it from here. You want to figure out how you want to do your sculpture, like which pieces go where. So on each one of these loops, you're going to put a sculptural piece. So see how they're open up a little bit? You're just going to slip those on. But once you slip it on, you really have to pinch those circles closed. Otherwise, they'll fall off. Okay, just like that. So I'm going to put another one on the other side. And it's the holders, these holders are easy to open. You won't be able to open these loops because we twisted them. So, and it should just go on like that, and you give it a little squeeze. Okay, now I'm going to do the next row. I'm going to squeeze that one on. And I'm going to squeeze that one on. So somewhere I didn't cut enough pieces, which happens. So I'm just going to steal a piece from my other sculpture. Really, you need 6 of these, and I apologize because I said 5. But you need 6 of these sculptural pieces. So sorry about that, guys. So I'm going to put these 2 large ones on the last. Now make sure that those loops are pinched closed, because otherwise things are going to fall apart. So these look pretty cool as is already, but now we are going to hook them together. So you have 3 of these linking wires. One of them is the top wire, and then you're going to use this top part to hang it from something. You could put a string in here and then attach it to a window or to the ceiling. Which is super cool. So I'm just going to open my little wire a little bit, and I'm just going to place this on like that and see how it balances. Now you got to make sure that you close this circle really well. Otherwise things will slip out and make a mess. So we have that one. Now, that one was the easy one. First I'm going to link all my sculptural pieces and then we'll link the whole thing together. So I'm going to link my next one. And I'm going to close that bottom up. And then I'm going to link the bottom. Okay, close it up. So now what we're going to do is we have to link, whoops, I didn't close a link well, so we lost one. Just going to close that up. That's what happens. Okay. So I have to now attach this link to the middle here, like that. So I'm just going to open this link up a little bit. It's hard to do when everything's moving and showing you, but we'll get it. And I'm going to attach it in the middle like that. Okay? Now I have to go back and I have to make sure that this link is closed, otherwise it will fall out. Now this is when things get tricky because you have wires jumping all over and sometimes they tend to get knotted. Let's see. Oh, we got it. Okay, cool. So I have one more to link on. And I'm going to link it on like that. And I'm going to make sure that that is closed. So if you do this, it's easier to like do it on the table, lying flat, and you can actually take the pieces down so they're not moving. But I wanted to be able to show you. So here is our kinetic sculpture, just like Alexander Calder. And see how they all balance each other and move around? It's totally cool. I hope you guys enjoyed making your kinetic sculptures. Have a great day. Bye-bye.